Some say love, it is a river that drowns the tender reed. Some say love, it is a razor that leaves your soul to bleed. When the night...
Are people actually listening to this?
Yeah.
Is it like this is live?
Man,
right
I thought
now?
we were doing this. I thought we were actually going to do it.
No, dude, this is terrifying.
Oh
like
my
you
gosh.
just ruined all these kind people's evenings.
No, what are you talking about? I thought the duets, the Country Squire Radio,
You're a good thespian and all that.
Country Squire Radio musical.
Just called
Would you pay to see that? I would. I would pay to see that.
I would pay to flee from that.
No, come on, come on. Hey, everybody. Sorry, we're
running a little late tonight.
We're running late. That's how it goes. I saw a couple of you guys tweeting in saying that you put some other stuff on hold just to be here with us, and so we thought, you know what? I tell you what, even though we're not fully prepared, let's go ahead and bring you a little pre-show.
No, that's good, and then you ruined their senses. No, you did great.
I thought it was
very
great.
lovely. No, you know I have fun making fun of you, Bo, but you
I need Twitter to.
You're very, very, very special.
Twitter, you validate me. Tweet in saying that was amazing. Beautiful
I'm so
singing.
excited about our show tonight.
It's gonna be fun.
Yeah.
I don't want to get it twisted. Someone ran to the restroom. Please stop. Okay, fair enough. I thought it was terribly good.
Whenever you do like a British accent, like sometimes it comes out pretty decent.
Me or you? Or just in general?
You, but when I do it, I just always sound like Stewie Griffin.
Well, like a
you know what I mean?
I'm not gonna make that joke. Yes, you do sound like Stewie Griffin.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah,
that's accurate.
I'm okay with it.
Yeah, no, that's good.
I'm just not very good.
No, look, it's fine.
I'm sure when my people came over from from the motherland, they were we probably didn't have cool accents anyway. Your people probably did. You were probably some of that elitist patrician, aristocracy stuff.
We want Michael Caine or anything like that.
Yo!
We got much love for our Cogni listeners. Thank you so much for tuning
is that
in.
a picture of what I think it is?
Yeah, Twist
I
Tobacco.
can't wait to talk about some of this. It's gonna be great.
Great.
I think hold on, I think I'm just about ready.
Great start. Nowhere to go from here.
Oh, but it's so sad, but it's true.
Sorry, this isn't technically considered part of the show. This is what you get for tuning in live. You get a little pre-show.
Right.
Like even when I go back and recut the YouTube video, it's going to be cut out of this. So
I can't wait to talk about Twist Tobacco. This is going to be fun. All right.
Keeping us real and honest. You ready? Give me a test 1, 2.
Yeah. I guess we hadn't really done much of a mic check tonight. Let's see. Check. Test 1, 2. Test 1, 2.
Testing 1, 2, and 3. John David Cole on the mic. How are you doing, John?
Turn more this way.
You do what you got to do. Get yourself comfortable.
Is that better?
Let me know when you're ready.
I know some of our friends in other states don't appreciate the big pop filter in front of our mouth. I'm pulling up Twitter. Are you looking at the camera?
Can you move closer to me?
Yeah, sure.
Let them know we're friends now.
I mean, we don't want to take
not
this
too
far.
friendly. That's too friendly. No,
we don't want to take this too far.
All right, I think that's pretty good. That way they can see the beautiful sign above your head. See, this is for those of you who were there last week. We talked about
right.
How we've got a new setup here, thanks to the wonderful
retail genius.
What do you call the people that go in and make a place look pretty? There's like a specialist, someone who goes in and makes things pretty.
Like an interior designer?
Thanks to the interior designing expertise of John David Cole. That's what I was going to
Wow, that could have been the worst thing anyone's ever called me.
No. Surely not, but let's hope so. All right.
All right, dude. I think I'm ready. Hold on. Dude, let me pull up my show notes here.
Pulling up the show notes.
Boy, we're just firing on all cylinders tonight.
I'm telling you, man. No, the cops. No, that's the ambulance. Ambulance going by. Not for us. We're okay. Thank y'all again so much for tuning in. Sorry that we're running a little bit late. For those of you who are here, hopefully you're still enjoying some of the ridiculous shenanigans that happened in pre-show.
Yep.
We haven't had a good shenanigans-filled pre-show in quite some time. We've been pretty professional lately.
Yeah, we have. So you're getting the full experience tonight.
This is what it's all about. All right, you ready for this?
I think I'm ready, dude. Yep.
Tonight on Country Squire Radio, we're talking Twist Tobacco.
Plus a pipe question on pipe tobacco regulation.
Quick fire questions, listener feedback, and more happening right now. Welcome to Country Squire Radio. I'm Bo.
And I'm John David.
JD.
Hey, Bo. Good evening, man.
Man, good evening to you, sir. How you doing tonight?
Dude, I'm doing well. It's been a busy few days here around the shop. It's funny. Normally July kind of slows down after, Father's Day's in June. It's real busy, and then it kind of starts slowing down. It gets so hot and everything. But man, we've just been rocking and rolling, dude. It's been great.
I love it. Love to hear it.
Been really good. Lots of cigar smokers this time of year start to filter back in. And
yeah, what is the seasonal nature of cigars?
Well, we talk about that occasionally. Obviously we're always complaining about the heat here, but there is something to be said about this time of year. You're out grilling and stuff like that, and you just don't necessarily want to fool with your pipe as much. And so we've got all these folks that come in and immediately just start gravitating towards a cigar. And so for some reason, of course, our shop is so rare; it's very pipe centric, as we've talked about, before. And so here we've always got pipe smokers coming and going, but the cigar stuff definitely kind of spikes in the summertime. Yeah. It's something we see.
Okay,
and I've been smoking more myself recently. I've enjoyed a boutique brand that's that I've become really fond of called Curivari. Real small batch stuff. Yeah, Curivari. They kind of a interesting little company, but man, they may just make some great small batch stuff. Their Cafe and Cafe Noir series are great. Their Reserva Limitada is probably the closest thing to a Cuban cigar I've ever had that was not made in Cuba. Really, really good stuff. But I've been enjoying some stogies, man. It's been good.
All right, fair enough, man.
You want to smoke one with me sometime?
I do like stogies. I like cigars. Don't you dare. Don't you dare. I know. I see that look in your eye. You want to make fun of me.
Do you?
Yes, I do. That was a heavy cigar, sir. Okay, look.
You probably didn't have enough on your stomach either.
John David's referring to the last time that I was in the shop smoking a cigar. It was a gift from my brother. And it was a pretty heavy cigar for someone who had not been eating that day and doesn't typically smoke cigars.
It was a really mild cigar, but
gut punch right there.
I'm just glad you're close to the bathroom.
All right.
Yeah. I took good care of you. I brought you plenty of water, and I got like a cold towel to like compress against your forehead.
No, this is true. One of the best things about John
That's really
David,
what happened.
In the midst of your trauma, he will be there, he will support you. But as soon as the trauma has passed and all is well, he will make fun of you and never let it go. Man, okay, so last week I was in Chicago.
Yeah, dude, tell us about your trip.
Dude, all right, the store there that I mentioned last week that I was going to.
Right.
Iwan Reese. John.
Wow.
Briar.
I have always called it Ewan Reese.
I always pronounce it.
And then I think you'll have purists that because it's Eastern European in origin, I think they call it Ewan Reese.
Ewan Reese, really?
I think it's maybe German or Austrian or something. I'm not.
Are you giving me a hard time? Sure. Are you sure?
No, I'm dead serious about
right
that. I've heard people call it Ewan Reese before, kind of like that V sounding W that you hear sometimes in Germanic languages. I've always called it Ewan Reese.
Ewan Reese. All right.
So you can call it Iwan Rice if you want.
Look, see, I get in trouble with this. In the pipe community, I've already gotten in trouble several times by pronouncing things the wrong way, but it's a curse, unfortunately.
But dude, you went.
Oh my gosh,
the guys were great.
Did you realize that
store
has been open since like the Civil War? Like not quite the Civil War, but like shortly thereafter.
Right in that era,
dude.
Yeah, it's amazing.
I mean, 4 or 5 generations. Like I had a great shop talk. With the manager of the shop, who's also the owner or the inheritance, like in line. For the ownership to sit the Iron Throne, but an awesome shop filled with a ton of character. They've got their smoking lounge. It's raised up, and like Chicago. I hadn't been to Chicago in years, and so it's literally like when you're walking the roads in certain areas, you're like 3 layers from the ground. Like there's like a underground subway, and then there's like an underground parking, or like there's underground parking, and then there's underground subway or something like that.
Okay.
It was really bizarre. Briar and I were actually walking around downtown. Briar, my co-founder for Satchel and a good friend of ours. And we were looking for a restaurant. And somebody actually, we called up the restaurant. We said, we're here. GPS is saying we are right here. And they said, do you see stairs? And we looked on the pavement. We saw stairs going down. They're like, go down the stairs. And I'm like, okay, where are we going?
You're going to get me murdered.
No, but seriously, there's like a whole underground layer to Chicago and apparently an underground layer to that. Here's the thing, though.
Okay.
So we go into this beautiful, beautiful shop. We go in. We take a look at the massive amount of inventory they've got. I mean, ridiculous numbers of pipes. Their pipe tobacco. He actually gave me a tour of both their shop as well as the inventory they had in the back. I mean,
yeah, dude, your pictures were incredible. I'm so used to being at the Squire, which of course is a smaller pipe shop tucked away here in the South. But like so when we have, let's say our stash of Dunhill 965 over there, like, if I sold 2 tins of Dunhill 965 today, like I'd be out. But at Ewan Reese, like, man, they got a whole vat of those things just waiting in the wing.
Man, they've got it was awesome. I took some pictures,
so cool,
posted up there. They got a ton of stuff, and it was amazing to hear their story. I can't wait to get that shop talk out. It's as soon as I have a chance to sit down and edit it. Any additional audio right now is more difficult than it used to be in terms of editing, but I hope to get that out to you guys soon. But I would encourage you, if you are ever in the Chicago area, you got to check this place out. I mean, their pipe smoking lounge, because of the layers, it's raised up, and like the train is going by the window, but like in a really cool kind of way. It's awesome. They've got a poker table, like a poker lounge in the back as well.
That's awesome.
I mean, it's incredible. Like next year when we go to Chicago Pipe Show, like we need to
we need to make a point to get out there.
I think,
and see those guys
either the day before or the day after the Chicago Pipe Show. We should have a Country Squire meetup in the city, in downtown Chicago. And actually go to this place, rent out that room, get some poker going. Like you just want to be there, man. It's awesome.
Man, it sounds incredible.
Ewan Reese, man.
And they do a lot of cigar stuff as well, right?
Tons of cigars.
I mean, so they're just constantly moving just real premium products and everything.
And just great customer service too. I mean, I'll share this as well. We had a situation where Briar actually was buying a pipe.
Yeah, he mentioned this to me.
And Briar
bought a beautiful, 2013 Savinelli collection pipe, right? Yeah,
gorgeous looking pipe.
Yeah, beautiful pipe.
And so they were trying to process his card, but Briar doesn't travel to Chicago all that much. So when they saw a transaction coming from Chicago, they thought for sure someone had stolen his card.
Yeah, we're flagging that,
right? But I mean, they were so kind. They actually they worked out a deal with us so that Briar gave them his information, and if they couldn't run it, then they would call us. But otherwise, they were going to take it, so that we didn't have to wait while they were working out that issue. Got it all worked out. Briar paid for the pipe, and man, great customer service. I mean, just award winning. Honestly, if I had an award, I'd give it to him.
Award-winning customer service.
So anyway, all that gushing to say that really, really great location, great shop in the Chicago area. If you're ever out there, you got to check it out.
Well, my biggest question from your Chicago venture is, did you catch any Pokemon?
Okay, so you just asked me that question. I was not going to bring it up.
I did.
How are you aware?
Because you didn't think I knew.
No, I didn't.
Yeah. So I just kept hearing stuff about. I kept seeing these Facebook pictures of people in real places in real Jackson, Mississippi, but in front of these like little cartoon characters that I recognize as Pokemon because I played Nintendo in the 1990s. And Game Boy and all that.
As many of us did.
As many of us did. So I was familiar enough to recognize that as what it was. And so and then people kept telling me. I got these text messages from folks that said, "Man, there's a Pokemon gym right behind the Country Squire."
I was going to tell you, it's right there. Yeah.
And I'm like, man, that is the best marketing I ever could have done without knowing that I did.
Dude. So you remember when
there's a Pokemon gym at the Country Squire?
Yeah, man.
So let's explain. Okay, what's kind of got my understanding. Correct me if I'm wrong, Bo, but this company that I think you'd actually talked about the previous Ingress, this app that they came out with. It was like a real life app. So basically, take the camera on your phone and the GPS on your phone, and then you're walking around in your real reality, let's just say down your neighborhood street. And there's stuff that you can pick up and do and, trade and manipulate and all these things. But, and it's using your actual location and your actual, surroundings for this, which is just crazy. And so at some point we're going to talk about pipe tobacco. I promise it's coming. But it's just so fascinating to me. So,
it's soared. And
so what happened just to kind of finish up the first part is that they, the Ingress, I guess it did fine, but like they use the same idea with Pokemon.
Yeah.
And like Pokemon, that's like a child of the 90s and 2000s. Like that's our jam.
90s nostalgia, the most powerful of nostalgias out there. You thought 80s nostalgia was powerful? You have not met the children of the 90s. See, like there's this, I've got a whole theory about the psychology of
all these people born in like 1975, like writing in like terrible letters on how the 80s were better.
I got to think it's not about better or worse. It's about how nostalgia hits us. I got a whole theory about it that I'm not going to get into now, but I will say this.
Please don't.
So, yes, you got a gym right behind your house. I mentioned it a while back.
Yeah.
That I was like, this game's going to be huge. We got the Pokemon Go podcast that we set up months ago. because
timing was great.
I got foresight, baby. Yeah, back then I got the Pokemon Go podcast.com. We got Pokemon Go Pod on Twitter. We got Pokemon Go Podcast on Facebook. We've been doing preliminary monthly episodes. We got a guy out in Chattanooga. We got a guy out in California, and we've just been kind of gearing up for the game, getting hyped for it. And so the game takes off. It launches it did like $7 billion worth for Nintendo.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden we're getting some crazy incoming downloads on Podastery.
That's great. Yeah, that's great. I mean, I just think it's interesting. Like these businesses can figure out ways to I guess encourage, these stations to pop up around where they're at. I don't know how that works, if it's organic or what.
So this is the thing. In fact, with Ingress, we tried to do this with your store. Because what Pokemon Go is doing is it's actually using...
I promise we're going to talk about pipes
I just thought about that too.
Yeah.
We need to get back on it. What Pokemon Go is doing, it's using the quote-unquote portal system from Ingress.
Right.
And back when I was playing that in preparation for Pokemon Go, we actually tried to set up a portal in front of your store. And when this happened, when everything was going off and there were these gyms everywhere, I was like, oh dang, what if the Country Squire is a Pokemon gym? Awesome.
And now it is.
Yes.
Basically. I just want to say real quick before we segue, Varge just wants us to know that the one that's really hard to find is Pinzansachu. And he's right. He's right. Good. Yeah, it was great. We had that episode last week where we kind of talked about some of the Esoterica blends.
Yeah,
and we had those bags of Tilbury, Dunbar, and I think a couple tins of Pembroke that were left, and we literally got rid of the rest of that inventory on the show.
Sold out on the show
that night, which I thought was really funny.
Do you have something like 110 left in something right now?
No, it's all gone.
But I just mean in general. Can we try that again? To sell out?
Oh yeah, no, we need to do that more often. Let me find some crap that's been in the corner for 20 years, and let's talk about it tonight on the show.
Black pepper. He's got black pepper. It looks like he's only got 110.
That stuff looks good. Now.
No, I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying that it looks like it's only got one left.
It is interesting they named it black pepper. I got to open that can and try it.
All right. So there you go. Either John David tries it or you buy it. That's going to happen tonight on Country Squire Radio. Guys, we've got a great topic to talk to you about.
Yeah.
We're actually talking twist tobacco.
Twist tobacco.
Do the twist.
Ba 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 da ba. Yeah, whatever.
All right. So twist tobacco is a really, it's one of these things that, you go into your pipe shop all the time. You see beautiful pipes. You see all kinds of tins. You see wonderfully blended tobaccos. You go into the cigar lounge if they've got one, or the humidor. You take a look at the beautiful cigars. You've seen it all before. But if you've never seen twist tobacco, when you first see it, it's a head scratcher.
It is.
It's like, wait, do I need to get my doggy bag? Because it seems like, Boo Boo just left something on the carpet.
A Boo Boo, right? Is this something I put, with to feed the fish, or what do I do with this? Yeah, man, twist tobacco. Yeah, we just started carrying some at the Country Squire, and we decided we just want to have an episode where we kind of explore it and talk about it some. I'm actually learning some about it right now. Hopefully we can have folks chime in that have had more experience with twist tobacco, but just thought we'd kind of explore it and talk about, where it came from, kind of who the players are and what some different ones are that are out there.
Yeah. I'm curious, before we dive in, really, when I feel like this is a recent addition to the Country Squire.
Yeah.
In my experience, I haven't seen twist tobacco, a couple of months ago, maybe.
Well, the thing is, you can buy it in tins, right? And so the most common way you see it now are in tins. And we've had it here at the Country Squire in tins before. You'll see it. You can get it on any of the online retailers. The usual suspects. They'll have the Sam Gay with twists and the Gay with and Hogarth twists, and some of those that we'll talk about some in a bit. But occasionally you'll find a shop that sells this stuff by weight or by length. And so what we've done at the Squire, we've just decided to take the twist tobacco, and I'm gonna hold it up so maybe our folks on the live show can see. But it's just a big old fat rope of tobacco. Yeah. And it
looks like a rope your dog left on the carpet.
It does. And so, as a matter of fact, I want to open it here. It's just crazy. It's a big honking rope of tobacco. And so the twist tobacco, a lot of times, folks will see it in shops. It's not nearly as common anymore, but in a traditional setting in late 19th century, early 20th century America, it was very common to go in a general store or drugstore or something of this nature, and if you wanted tobacco, one of the ways and one of the predominant ways you could buy tobacco was in a rope form. Huh. And so, as a matter of fact, there's some countries on earth that it's still very, very popular to buy twist tobacco, and so they still sell it like this commonly.
Wow.
But, so the tobacco that you see here tonight, The one I just pulled out of this jar is a Gaywith and Hogarth, the sweet whiskey twist. But what they would do, and it's really cool. You would have a like a tobacco plug cutter or a slicer that would be mounted in your shop, and then the tobacconist or the guy behind the counter at the drugstore or grocery store or wherever you were would actually just measure you out a length of this stuff. And so traditionally, tobacco in ropes is sold by the length. And so here at the Country Squire, we have decided to sell an inch of our twist tobacco for $1.75 an inch.
All right, so
isn't that funny? But it's just kind of weird.
I'm looking around the shop. I don't necessarily see that you got some old school cutter. Can you just use a cigar cutter? Well, there you go.
Cigar cutter, baby.
I mean, it's about the right size.
Yeah, it really is. It's perfect for it. And so you just kind of pop it in there and can snip it real easy. But what's cool is I found online this beautiful old plug cutter from a general store. And it's a cast iron thing. And actually, I gave it to our good friend, too. And he is restoring it. He's actually restoring the blade.
Seriously?
This big cast iron tobacco plug cutter, and actually, but we're going to mount it right behind me over by that cigar box guitar. And so when people come in, they can actually say, "Hey, I want an inch of that, or I want 2 inches, or whatever," and I can measure it out, and then use this big plug cutter to slice it. So, dude, talk about old school. Talk about like the spirit of the Country Squire.
I know, right?
That's gonna be great. Yeah. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be great. The folks at the FDA are gonna love it. They're just gonna love it. We'll talk about that later.
We'll talk about that later, man.
But really cool. Twist tobacco obviously is very different nowadays than from what we're used to seeing. But back in the 19th century, it was one of the most common ways to consume tobacco. And what was so great about it, it was extremely popular with working class folks and also military folks. And the idea is simple. We've talked about this before with, issuing rations of tobacco to, military, types or whatever. But you've got a piece of tobacco that's very versatile, and so you can just take the twist or the rope and throw it in your pocket. And if you're working down, let's say in the coal mine or something, or on the ship, if you're up in the next to the arsenal or something, you can just take your rope tobacco and just pull a plug off of it. Just literally take your pocket knife or just bite a plug off of it and just chew on your tobacco. Were
they always about that girth?
Well, that's the thing. They come in a variety. You've got these like super fat ones, and like the little pigtail twists that are real tiny, and so you have a variety of these that you can kind of go from. But yeah, and so the tobacco was able to be consumed in the chewable form or in the smokable form. And that's what's beautiful about it. And, as we got into the 20th century and, tobacco, just with the advent of cigarettes and, all this, and just with consumer culture too, the art form of preparing the tobacco became less and less a focus, as you could imagine. So that's why, for the longest time, you didn't see, there are folks that smoked a pipe for all the 20th century and never know what a flake tobacco was or a plug tobacco or anything like that. Just because the idea of preparing your tobacco and having something unique like that was just kind of out the window. If you could, light up a cigarette, smoke it, and be done with it all within 45 seconds time or whatever. So
you took
a lot of the art and the kind of beauty of the preparation out of it.
Man, you talk a lot about kind of the how we kind of experience a little bit of a moment where people are trying to kind of to be a little bit more thoughtful about what they're doing, and you think about kind of the origin of where that comes from, right? About this kind of culture that we had of like consume, like get it out faster, make it easier and easier and easier and easier to consume, to the point where it's like, all right, well, wait, hang on. Why are we consuming this in the first place? Like almost like there needs to be kind of a pause. Like, yes, we can get everything, faster, quicker, larger, bigger.
That's right.
But should we and kind of thinking about it? And part of the thought that goes into that is like, well, how is this made? How is it prepared? Is this special anymore? Or is this, am I just doing this just to do this? Yeah. Something like a twist tobacco really does kind of, string the right notes, so to speak, in terms of thinking about, you want something that is clearly done with a lot of care and love. At this stage in the game, twist tobacco.
Twist tobacco is your thing. That's right. It's the most convoluted, baroque, just complex, form of tobacco that you can find now. And it's beautiful. If you look at it, if you can get past the kind of it came out of the backside of your dog thing, then it really is a beautiful tobacco. Basically they form these, and the idea is they'll take long leaves of tobacco and kind of put them out next to each other. There's these videos you can watch online of this stuff. It's really fascinating. But they'll start to kind of form a long bunch up a bunch of these leaves together, and then start to roll this bunch in a surrounding leaf of the same material, the same kind of leaf typically. And so you'll wind up with this long cigar looking thing that they eventually just keep twisting and twisting. And then, and then you'll have different varieties. You've got, just like any other tobacco, you've got flavored twists, and you've got unflavored twists. You've got twists that are, have just been air cured or air dried out. And you've got other twists that have been heated and actually, maybe stoved or, baked or something to kind of, help mellow them out a little bit.
Right.
It just comes in a variety, just like any other type of tobacco. But generally, the underlying theme of twist tobaccos is that they're just really strong. They're just really strong tobaccos.
Yeah, it's hard not to look at it, and even just hearing you describe the process and compare it to a cigar.
Yeah. I mean, it even looks like one, and you've got folks that have, sat here in the shop and tried to smoke it like a cigar.
I was going to ask you.
Of course, failed miserably, right?
Well, it's a different wrapping process, I guess.
It is, yeah. I mean, and the leaves are a lot more moist and all this. If you ever try it, you just can't really do it. But if you're looking for, though, a really strong tobacco experience, and one that also is going to make you work for it a little bit, then twist tobacco's for you. And it's one of those that, whether you chew it or smoke it in your pipe, you're going to get a different experience either way, but both are super powerful. One of our customers that is always looking for the biggest hit possible when it comes to tobacco products. He only uses premium tobacco products and pipes and cigars and things like that, but he wants something that's really strong. And so I gave him, when we got this, this is Brown No. 4 Finest Kindle Twist from Sam Gaywith, and we'll talk about these two in particular in a minute. But I gave him an inch of that just to, it's kind of a free sample, just because I figured he'd like it. And of course, he came in the next day and bought a foot of it.
You gave him an inch, you wanted a mile.
I know, exactly. Well, he wanted a foot, right? And so he came in and got it. But I mean, this stuff, it's strong enough to take down like a mountain lion.
Is that the one that you had me smell once? And I was like, oh.
No, that's something else? We're going to talk about that.
Okay, fair enough.
We're going to talk about that. So let me just kind of broad brushstrokes on the market out there for twist tobacco. Obviously, there's not a lot of makers that make this stuff anymore.
Sure.
There's a real twist tobacco originated in Britain. It's a very fine art form and a craft. There's this real fine tobacco tradition in the Kendal region of England, which is in the the northwest of England. It's kind of along the Irish Sea over there, if I'm not mistaken. But and so you'll find a lot of times these are labeled Kendal twists, and that's for the name of the region that they come from. This Brown No. 4, it says Finest Kendal Twist, and so you'll see that a lot. But anyway, the twists are, they come, because of this tradition in England, it just still resonates there. And you've got these artisans that make this stuff and have done it for generations in their family and all that kind of thing. But those are kind of some of the last people that are doing this. You do have a couple of American boutique makers that do some of this stuff, but as far as finding it readily available and able to order from, folks like our online retailers, or come in a shop like the Squire and get something, the bulk of what you're going to find is either from Sam Gaywith or Gaywith and Hogarth, which again, these are two brands that have a very fun intertwined history that we'll probably have to talk about at some point, just because of that too. The oldest tobacco brands in the world. But now are together, but still under different names. Anyway, it's convoluted, just like twist tobacco. But so Sam Gaywith and Hogarth, they've got these twists that they still do all the time, and there's a huge variety of them. You've got the twists that are not cooked at all, and then they might have cherry or rum or vanilla or berry or any kind of flavoring that are put on them. But then you've also got the twists that have been steamed or fermented. It's based almost like on the way to being a Cavendish or something. So the flavor is going to be a lot stronger, but the intensity of the nicotine is actually going to be a lot lower. Think of like as we talk about like coffee that has been roasted longer. It's got a bolder flavor, but it's got less caffeine in it. And it's a similar thing we talk about with pipe tobacco a lot happens as well. So
a lot of similarities there.
Anyway, on the rope, just talk about these two that I've got here tonight. The Kindle Twist number 4. This is Sam Gaywith, and it's a strong natural tobacco. You think like Virginias and Burleys in here that are just real natural and strong. But I'm gonna let you smell this. It's just a real bold tobacco. Here, hold that.
It's very different. If you want to smell twist tobacco, if you want to smell twist tobacco, you really got to get up on it. Like it doesn't really have a jar note.
No, you do. Yeah, you do. It's got it's subtle. When you're picking it out of the jar or the tin or whatever. Yeah, definitely is. But
I feel like I have to smoke this to get it.
I think you should, or you could chew it.
How do you break it? How do you break it up?
Well, and that's the beauty. So typically, you see historically a lot of folks that would use like a plug knife or a tobacco knife to cut this kind of thing. Today, you might see folks like you and me use something like a cigar cutter to kind of shred some of this stuff up. But typically, I'll sell it by the inch. So if you come into the Squire, you can buy an inch of this tobacco or 2 inches of the other one or whatever. And we're going to carry more at some point is the hope. But you'll buy this by the inch, and then when you get it and ready to prepare it, you'll kind of start to slice it in thin strips, thin slices. So
like when you say slices, you're talking like almost medallion.
Yeah, like a medallion. Yeah,
yeah.
That's right. And so and a lot of folks too will then start to kind of tear it into shreds, just like you would.
Right.
Let's say you open a can of a Scudo or a can of Dunhill luxury Navy rolls or something like that, and you find these medallions in there. You just start to tear them apart, and then prepare it in the same way. A little bit goes a long way with these tobaccos. So the brown number 4, this tobacco is not. It hasn't been heated or stoved or fermented at all. This is just straight up tobacco that hasn't been processed a whole lot except for air cured, and so you're just kind of get a lot of nicotine. Like this is a tobacco that is well enjoyed after a big old lunch or dinner or something like that to kind of cap off the day. Like you just don't want to do this on an empty stomach unless you're a mountain lion.
Yeah. Very similar to the cigar we referenced earlier in the show.
Right. That was like a, Arturo Fuente 858 that, I would give to a child. But anyway.
You would not? And no.
No, I would not give it to a child unless the child were 18. But,
There you go.
The other one we've got tonight, this is fun.
This one has my interest peaked.
Gaywith and Hogarth. It's a sweet whiskey twist. And so this tobacco actually has been cased in some whiskey. I don't know what kind of whiskey they used. I probably should find out, but I'm actually going to cut some of this off so I can kind of show you.
Yeah. You gonna smoke it?
And I don't think so tonight. But I'll kind of just cut a slice of that
straight
off.
up, just like chopping a cigar.
Yeah, I mean, you just chopping it off right there, and you can see kind of the twist is unraveling. They literally just take these tobacco leaves. They kind of have a center of tobacco that they put in the middle. Imagine a bunch of leaves lined up next to each other, kind of bundled, and then they'll take an outside leaf and kind of wrap around this, and then start to to form the twist, the actual twist of tobacco. But it's just a lot of fun. It's definitely a unique and interesting experience. I don't believe the whiskey twist is very processed either, other than maybe just the whiskey flavoring. So again, you're going to have a really strong tobacco. The more they cook the tobacco, again, the more you're going to get less nicotine, less of the tar and things like that really leave you feeling it afterwards. And so, I just love, what people have to say about this stuff. The one you were talking about earlier is one made by our friends at Sam Gaywith, and it's called Black XX Kindle Twist. And it's just one of these that, it's kind of got a notorious.
It'll make you ask why. I'll just.
It will.
That was my takeaway. I was just like, why?
Why would I do that to myself? or my pipe for that matter. Yeah.
Right.
It's just one of those that is extremely polarizing when it comes to the tobacco world. Folks that are really into strong tobaccos, they love the Black XX Finest Kindle Twist by Sam Gaywith. Folks that if you're an aromatic pipe smoker, if you're
just if you enjoy aromatics.
Most pipe smokers are just not going to care for the Black XX and frankly most twist tobaccos because they tend to be so strong. But the Black XX particularly just has such a fascinating story. I don't have that here. I did not pick that up at the Squire as a bulk tobacco on purpose. Because I don't want to smell it.
Feedback wasn't.
No, I just don't. Like even if it would sell, I just don't want to deal with it.
Right,
I don't want to see it. I don't want to smell it. Like when you open up the tin of the Black XX, it looks like kind of what I would imagine. Opening a diaper. It's just really foul.
Yeah.
I want to read just a couple of reviews of Black XX that are online. These are fun.
They should be good.
Occasionally you see stuff like this, but a couple of these are off tobaccoreviews.com. He says just some random folks. I was in my local tobacco shop and thought I saw a piece of dog crap in a bag. He said, out of my curiosity, I asked the question, what the hell is that in the bag? I should have known something was weird when the response I got was ha 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 ha. Well,
wait, that was the guy that owned the store.
I know, right? He was like, "Hey, watch this while this sucker buys this stuff." He said, "Well, to make an hour-long conversation short, I loaded it into my Nording freehand, and well, holy hell, it made my taste buds feel like they were burnt and smell and the smell. Oh my God, the smell was very, very unpleasant. I would never smoke it again." Blah blah blah. We've got other folks that say. Let's see. Let's see here.
I just, you sell it in your store when somebody wants to buy it. You're like, no, you don't.
Black XX rope. I really wanted to like this. I even had it shipped to me 2-day express. My first impression was, quote, "Wow, look at the blackened dog crap coiled up in the can." Despite my first impression, it looked pretty yummy. And then he goes on to say he liked the punch. He got more punch off the Penzance than this for some reason. But
really?
When he smoked it, he didn't care for as much of the taste. If I could, blah blah blah. Let's see. You got another one that says, quote, "This is awful and a never to forget experience. From the appearance to taste in your mouth, it is gross, and if you are very tolerable, it tastes like you soaked leftover cigars for days in pond water and then tried to smoke it." Sam Gaywith has good tobacco blends. This one is not. Money just gone to the wind. And then you got another one. Are you kidding me? Very strong. Does not taste like tobacco. Ruined 2 pipes with it.
Wow.
Now, because I'm an idiot, I'll probably never taste food again.
Yeah, to be fair, if you ruined 2 pipes with it, fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice.
Fool me twice. I hope that pipe was a really crummy pipe.
You can't fool the fool twice.
Here's another one. After a few abortive attempts with its stronger cousin, the brown rope, I tried the Black XX, hoping it would be more flavorful and mild. Taste and aroma is primarily reminiscent of burning plastic. I've never gotten through.
Wow. Yeah.
I've never gotten through more than about half a bowl. The ash is dark, malevolently gray, and the room note is acrid.
So clearly this is a
so
tobacco
foul.
Loved by the community.
Yeah, another one says, notes of burning hair, methane, and melting plastic, 1 star. And my favorite of all these about Sam Gaywith Black XX, and I love it. Like, if you smell it, it really does smell like someone took a steak and kind of just kind of burned it a little too much.
No disrespect to Sam Gaywith.
No, they make some awesome blends, and some people love this stuff, but they're like Briar.
Yeah, some people
actually Briar doesn't like this
Some people love this stuff. You're right. Some people are in prison. Some people rob people. Some people are in insane asylums.
My favorite by far, this quote, "This tobacco will actually make you paranoid. After I smoked about a half a bowl, I began seeing things. I spent the next 2 hours afraid I would die, and then I spent the next hour after that afraid that I wouldn't.
All right, now I kind of want to smoke it.
Isn't that out of control?
Oh my gosh! Wow.
I'm just saying, Bo. Like
I want to set this
again,
right.
That,
my friends, is how you introduced me to Twist Tobacco. Was putting that in my face.
No, it is. It is. You know, and the thing is that is one type of Twist Tobacco. That's Black XX by Sam Gaywith. But you know, again, it's the funny thing is, even though the taste and smell of it is very, you know, acrid and you know, strong, the strength of it from a, you know, strength standpoint that it's going to have on your physiology,
sure,
is not nearly so. But
man,
as much as these, you know, the whiskey twist and the brown number 4, these are, you know, tobaccos that haven't been you know, heated as much, and so they're gonna probably taste, frankly, a little milder, but then they're gonna be stronger tobaccos. So.
Great stuff, man. Not so much that, but Twist Tobacco in general, really, really interesting. You know,
it's fascinating.
Pappy Joe actually tweeted in, just kind of, you know, reminding us and the folks listening that, you know, rope tobacco was standard on sailing vessels. Which,
that's right.
Of course,
that's
given
right.
the time, makes a lot of sense.
Pappy Joe, a veteran of the United States Coast Guard,
and we salute him for
very thankful for that.
Absolutely. Right? And yeah, so Twist Tobacco, and so I did, you know. Did you mention, I don't think you did. Did you mention how you first discovered Twist Tobacco?
Yeah, just, you know, honestly, I didn't even know much about it other than just reading about it in history books. From a consumer standpoint, the first time I ever interacted with it was when I just started getting a few tins here at the shop of some of the Sam Gaywith stuff. And so, you know, you open the tin, obviously, you know, if you're only talking a couple ounces of tobacco, you know, you open the tin and they've basically just taken a section of this rope and sliced it off and put it in the tin.
So in my head, I was thinking tin, kind of like the bullseye flake, you know, which obviously.
Yeah. Now, and those tobaccos in their original form look a lot like this.
Right. But when you get a tin of Twist Tobacco,
when you get a tin
like
of actual Twist, particularly from Gaywith and Hogarth or Sam Gaywith, it's going to look like that, but just it'll be, you know, maybe
deformed cigar.
Yeah, maybe a cut or, you know, or something you found in your backyard. But yeah, but you know, those few inches that are kind of just cut off and put in the tin. So yeah, and it really is just quite an experience to interact with. The beauty of it is that, you know, you've got this wonderful leaf that you know, that we're so fond of, that you can either smoke or put in your mouth.
Man, and there you go. You just did chewing it up. Have you ever chewed it before? This is your first time doing it on?
No, but it's really good.
Is it? All right.
It reminds me of that Red Man chewing tobacco that occasionally I used to do if my mom's watching earmuffs.
No, he didn't.
but like, in college, like on long road trips, occasionally I put a little Red Man in on a long road trip or something.
Fair enough.
I figured it would be kind of sweet. You do taste a little bit of the whiskey. That's pretty strong.
I'm not a chewing tobacco guy.
You didn't strike me as one.
Yeah.
That's really strong. Wow.
Now, okay, you want me to go get you some water now? Do you want me to take care of you? Because I will do it.
The night's young.
All right, man. Twist Tobacco.
Twist
Tobacco. Anything else, man?
I think that's it.
Man, what a great what a great legacy item in the tobacco family. You know what I mean? Like something that has a strong history throughout, something that I think that you know, you don't, honestly, if you walk into most pipe shops, you're not going to necessarily just, you know, see it, you know, barrels and barrels of it on the shelves, so to speak. But something that is worth looking into and trying, and, you know, maybe not chewing as John David runs to the other side of the store in order to spit it out.
I didn't spit it out. I just have to get a little spit cup.
Not that kind of
It just got so classy, didn't it?
Oh, my goodness. All right, man. Well, I'll tell you what. I can class this place up real quick.
Please do.
You know how?
Yeah, I have an idea.
By talking about Missouri Meerschaum.
Exactly.
That's
yes.
right.
Yes. Love our friends at Missouri Meerschaum.
Absolutely. Look, Missouri Meerschaum, of course, is a sponsor for this show. And if you have not gotten a Missouri Meerschaum pipe, I feel like I don't know what to do for you. I'm sorry. We've talked about it. No, I'm just kidding. Look, you got to have a Missouri Meerschaum pipe. The beautiful thing is we're not just talking corncob pipes. We are talking corncob pipes. But we're not just talking about a corncob pipe. We're talking about a corncob pipe made with quality and with some fantastic shapes. One of the things I love about Missouri Meerschaum is they're not afraid to get experimental with some of the designs they have. And we've been taking a look at different pipes that they offer throughout the last several weeks. We've got one sponsoring the show tonight, and that is the Missouri Meerschaum Eaton.
Yeah.
Eaton. Like you've been eaten and now you're full.
And right. And so you're going to smoke your Eaton?
That's right. The Missouri Meerschaum Eaton is a smaller pipe, a smaller bowl pipe. So, would you actually smoke a twist tobacco in a smaller bowl pipe, or would you actually need something bigger for it?
No, actually, a small bowl pipe would be like the Eaton from Missouri Meerschaum would be a perfect pipe for twist tobacco. But twist tobacco is so strong, a little bit goes a long way. You read through a lot of these reviews, and people are like, "Man, it was pretty good, but I could only get through a quarter of a bowl or half a bowl or something like that." Right. So it does tend to be strong, and so you'll be able to, with the smaller bowl pipe like the Eaton, enjoy just a little bit and then, move on about your day.
Well, if you've been listening to Country Squire Radio for some time, we've mentioned tons and tons and tons of tobaccos. And one of the best way to sample new tobaccos is with a good quality corncob pipe. So check out the Eaton from Missouri Meerschaum. If you don't have one, that might be yours. Hey, and if you've got an Eaton pipe, go ahead and take a picture of yourself smoking it this week. We'll retweet that out. And we will share with the good folks at Missouri Meerschaum how you guys are supporting them while they're supporting us. All right, guys, we have got a pipe question of the week. This one comes in from Henry Rankin.
Yeah.
Excuse me. It says, I'm a regular listener of the show. In your opinion, do the new regulations effectively make it impossible for a local tobacco shop to sell a bulk blend like Luxury Bullseye Flake because of the repackaging of tobacco because the repackaging of the tobacco would make the local tobacco shop a manufacturer? Again, this is coming from Henry. It's a good question. This was actually something that I talked to the good folks at Iwan Reese about.
What did they have to say about it?
I won't speak for them.
Okay.
I think that'd probably be best if I don't.
That makes sense.
Them, but
I can speak for me.
Yeah, please do.
I think by the letter of the new regulations, if a retailer in the traditional sense is not registered as a manufacturer, okay, then they can legally not sell tobacco in this manner. Like if you're viewing the show tonight on a live show, behind the camera here we've got our tobacco bar, and so without being a manufacturer, it will be by the letter of the law, not proper or legal, I guess, by federal regulation to sell tobacco like this by weight that has been packaged by someone else. And so, my understanding, tobacco is really strong. My understanding, if I understand the law, the regulations correctly, is that for a tobacconist such as myself, and to sell a tobacco such as Luxury Bullseye Flake by the ounce, what I would have to do is become a federally recognized tobacco manufacturer, okay, just like Lane or our friends at Stokeby or Sam Gaywith or whoever.
Sure.
And then I would have to register that when I sell a product called Luxury Bullseye Flake, that it is Luxury Bullseye Flake from Peter Stokeby. And so there's kind of a two-step process there. It's like, okay, you have to be considered a manufacturer, and then you also have to let the government know that when you're selling that, this is what you're selling. How is that going to work out practically? I think it's not. I think it's not going to be easy for people to follow, and maintain a true sense of upstandingness with the spirit of the law. We're going to do everything we can at the Country Squire to sell stuff like Luxury Navy Flake and Luxury Twist Flake and all the others by the ounce. If that means I've got to go, register as a manufacturer and then turn around and say, okay, I'm selling this tobacco product that is already, listed as a tobacco product from this other manufacturer, Now I'm just going to repackage it and sell it as the exact same thing. If I have to go through an extra hoop to do that, I'll do that. The question is, how much time is it going to take for that to be approved? And then how much money is it going to take for that to go through the process of being approved? And those are answers we don't have. And we just don't know.
You know, I've seen some different things going online, even as recent in the last week, about, you know, being proactive in this space. And hopefully next week we'll have a little bit more information about how you can get more proactive in this space as a listener of Country Squire Radio and a fan of the pipe tobacco and the community as a whole. So, but great question. Thank you so much.
Really good question. You know, to throw a little red meat to a pack of wolves right now, you know, I will say, don't look for bulk tobaccos sold by the weight to disappear from the Country Squire anytime soon.
All right.
I will say that we're committed to doing whatever we have to do in order to, you know, to keep a traditional pipe shop active here at the Country Squire. And it's in our DNA. It's in tobacco's, you know, premium tobacco's history. And, you know, we don't even think the spirit of the regulations are aimed primarily at shops like us, and fully believe that. So, yeah, don't expect your favorite tobaccos to disappear here at the Country Squire.
All right, man. Well, good stuff. Henry, thanks so much for sending that pipe
Great
question.
Yeah.
And if you've got a pipe question of the week, you can send it in csr@podastery.com. Excuse me. Excuse me.
You gonna make it?
Yeah, I got a little something in my
You
throat.
want some of this sweet whiskey twist?
No, thank you, sir.
It did me right.
Clearly. Quick fire questions.
Ow!
Are you ready, sir?
I am.
All right, here we go. Knife. Wait, hang on. Okay. Knife and fork or just fork?
Knife and fork. I'm not particularly classy, but like, give me a knife. I think so.
You know, earlier tonight we had dinner, and I had along with dinner a lovely heirloom tomato, like a beautiful slice of an heirloom tomato. And I was thinking as I was getting forks and everything out, I was like, well, do we need a knife for this? And I thought, no, we don't need a knife. It's a tomato.
Yeah.
So I just used a fork. Now, had it been a steak, I would have used a knife, right?
Yeah.
So
like, it depends on the food item.
It does. I think that's the spirit of the question. Like, is it fork versus knife and fork when the requirements of the food do not necessarily require a knife?
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's fair. You'd go, what would you go?
Well, some things I just think you're supposed to eat with a knife, even if you can just eat it with a fork.
Okay, fair enough. I see what you're going.
Yeah.
So your knife and fork, I'm going to go just fork.
Yeah.
Convenience. Left or right?
Right.
Left. All right. And grandma or grandpa?
Don't make me pick. That's
I know
not
that
fair.
that is an evil question.
That's not fair.
That is an evil question.
Yes.
Oh, and that is a that is not an answer. Gosh. Yes. You know what?
Well, I mean, like, come on.
I mean, yeah, that is a
Not
tough
a fair
one.
question.
No, I mean, one day I will
That's
be.
like, which one of your kids do you like better? Like, you know,
I
Sally or Billy?
I hope to one day be a grandpa. I mean, okay. At this stage in my life, if I had to choose to spend a little extra time with my grandfather or my grandmother, I probably would choose to spend it with my grandfather.
Okay.
But
Why is that?
Well, so part of it is just kind of a legacy thing, right? Like wanting to feel more like, you know, he walked and then my father walked and then I'm now a father. You know, like there's a lineage kind of tied to kind of the male narrative of our family.
Right.
And so from that standpoint, you know, I guess there's that. And then also the fact that, you know, of all my grandparents, you know, my maternal grandmother died well before I was born. So
right.
I never knew her. Now my step grandmother, who's always been, I mean, even calling her step grandmother is kind of odd, just because she's my grandmother.
Well, that's probably right.
Right. So, but you know, but then my grandfather on my father's side, who I knew the majority of my life, passed away a couple of years ago. And so, you know, gosh, I think a lot. I shouldn't think too much about it because I'll get emotional. But point being, I would love to spend a couple extra hours with him.
Be powerful. Yeah.
That's how I'm going to answer that unfair question. I'll choose grandfather for that reason.
You gave a lot more information than I did.
You said yes.
I want them all back. I'll tell you that right
That'll
now.
work. And then Dan or James Brown?
James Brown.
James Brown.
Yeah.
Excellent quick fire questions. Those actually came in from Mortensen Debbie. You know, he actually sent in ours last week. He actually sent a whole list, so I divided them up. Next week we got a great list of quick fire questions coming in from Dan Schultz.
Oh yeah, our friend Dan. Yeah, just placed an order actually.
Oh, right on. Very good. Very good. So hey, if you got some quick fire questions, go ahead and send those in. CSR@podastery.com.
Hey, a couple of tweets I want to mention. Wes Brown says he's at Life of Briar West, of course, really good friend from the Austin, Texas area. He says, seems if you sell Bullseye or if you sell PS Bullseye as PS Bullseye, you're a quote unquote reseller. Take components and blend it into something else, a manufacturer. Wes, that would make logical sense. But since we're dealing with the behemoth federal U.S. government, anytime you are repackaging something, you are by the letter of this is my understanding. I'd love it if someone were to correct me, but anytime you're repackaging, something, even if you're selling it as the exact same thing, by the letter of these regulations, you're then therefore considered a manufacturer, and have to go through the hoops that manufacturers have to go through. Keep in mind what's going on here. Okay, these regulations they didn't think about the pipe community at all when they did this. Okay, this is geared towards college kids in their closet, putting together a bunch of juices together for you to put in this vaporizer thing to inhale as a vape. Okay,
right,
now I have friends that vape. I get it. Like
this is not a judgmental space.
It's not. I'm just telling you what the spirit of this is about. Okay?
We're also not a vaping podcast.
We're not a vaping podcast.
Right.
This is a pipe smoking. This is a tobacco pipe
podcast.
smoking podcast.
Absolutely.
And so the idea here is, okay, we want people are going to be combining all these crazy juices and nicotine flavors and all this kind of stuff together. We want the public to know what's in there. So in order to do this, we're going to make all tobacco products or that contain nicotine to go through these steps, right? Well, they're not thinking that I'm literally taking this product and taking it out of a bag, putting it in a canister that looks like this, and then weighing it by weight and reselling it. That didn't even cross their mind, in this kind of stuff. They're thinking about the college kid that might be in the back room putting all kinds of crazy stuff in these, e-liquids, and then, selling it to you with this, device that heats these coils up and creates this, smoke that you inhale and gives you a buzz, but without the tar or whatever, And so so you're right. What you said should be correct, but by the letter of what they've put out here, is not. And so we'll continue to talk about some of these things over time. Again, I want to be very clear. Do not anytime soon look for your favorite blends at the Country Squire to disappear. We will do literally whatever we can to continue to sell premium tobaccos by the ounce that we custom blend here at the shop, and are committed to that. That's our identity. We have a proud tradition of being a pipe shop first, and that is very rare in our country, and we're going to continue to do that. So, but I think, I think you have a good point there. Another tweet comes in and it says it's go ahead.
Before we get too deep into listener feedback, we got to make mention of the sponsor for this week's episode.
Oh, we do.
Yes, I don't want to mess that up again like we did last week.
Okay, but I can do more listener feedback after, right?
Oh yeah, we can do that. I just need to cut it around. So yeah, that'd be good. Good.
One more. Pappy, our friend Pappy Joe, he says, let me find this. This was gold. Pappy Joe, he says, so twist tobacco is made by feeding your dog tobacco and then waiting for a couple hours?
Yeah, I saw that.
And then our friend Varge says, only if your dog is a licensed tobacco manufacturer. Exactly. So.
Wonderful. All right, we got some great listener feedback for this week. But first, let's tell you about the final sponsor for this week, thispipelife.com.
This Pipe Life, man. Yeah. Great new online community geared towards younger, more plugged in, pipe smokers that are all, integrated with social media and, content that we all know and love, such as photography and music and, craft processing and everything else.
Man, they've got it's a wonderful community. They've also got a wonderful forums on there called The Pipeline. And, it's a great place to be. If you haven't checked it out yet, thispipelife.com. It's a wonderful website. And you mentioned it, there's an element, you look at it and it's very visual as matching the pipe smoker of the day.
You said that so much better than I was trying to get across. It was like, how do I take this awesome aesthetic that they've created on this, online community and describe it? And it's hard to describe unless you go check it out. Obviously you have to go, join and become a member, which is free and all that, but you get access to these wonderful, amenities such as the forums and also reviews and ways to integrate your personal pipe experience with, to the world with other, to show to other pipe smokers.
Yeah. If you haven't done so already, head over to thispipelife.com, register yourself if you haven't, and head over to the Pipeline. Let them know what you're smoking. Let them know you heard about it on Country Squire Radio.
Yeah.
All right, man. We also got some listener feedback in. We got I can't remember how we got this in, but this is from Luke Lawson, who writes in saying, "I love the videos." So I guess it's from YouTube, actually. Luke Lawson on YouTube, who said, "I love the videos. If y'all keep these videos up, you need to look into opening an opening song, a cool tune to start the show. Keep up the great work, guys." Actually, for our pre-show audience that will not appear on the podcast, unfortunately, or probably on the YouTube video when it's all said and done, I actually did break into song.
It was very fortunate. We want to keep all of our listeners. I'm just kidding. You actually have a good voice, bro.
No,
if I were to break out into song, people would run and scream. And,
no, the people had
bury their heads
in
sand.
But they don't like me.
One thing, obviously our good friend Brian over at Pipes Magazine radio show, he has a whole section of his show that's devoted to music traditionally, and I love that. So you know a lot more about music, Bo, than I do, but honestly, I think we're both not particularly cued in when it comes to like
as versed.
Yeah. I mean, I wish I knew more about music, but
there's we were guests on a wonderful, I think, the Cigar Jukebox podcast where they actually
that was really cool.
Yeah, music and
really
song. Cool. And, at some point, I think we made the comment then, we've made it since, and I'll make it yet again, but at some point it would be cool to do a Squire Select pairing up pipe tobacco and music.
Yeah. I think our listeners might give us more license to do that than pipe tobacco and barbecue.
Oh, there it is. All right. We also got a comment on Facebook from Patrick Barrett. And Patrick Barrett, this is in reference to...
I can read that. Do you want me to read this?
Yeah, Patrick Barrett. Now, this is actually in reference to me going to Chicago. He actually saw the pictures that we were posting out.
Yeah.
He made some great commentary there.
Yeah, love Patrick, good friend from the Mississippi Gulf Coast. He says, the question is, now that our small town boy has seen the big city pipe shop, will he be able to be satisfied with a quaint shop back at home? Or will we have to hear, they have this up at the shop in Chi-Town? Wow.
Look,
if you ever come in and say that about my shop, you're probably right.
No, man. I'm Squire.
Your little shop's cute and all. You've got your little dusty corner with your cobwebs and your, a few tins of this and that. But up in Chi-Town.
No, man. Look, it was a. Don't get me wrong. Iwan Reese is a great experience, and if you haven't checked it out, you have to. But I would say the exact same thing, and I do on a weekly basis. That if you've not checked out the Country Squire. That is also an amazing
what we lack in maybe inventory or stuff like that, we make up for in spades in character.
Yeah, charm, man. Like this is it's a beautiful experience. It's maybe
not charm, but character.
You're a charming guy.
No, it's charming.
Yeah,
it's charming.
Look, you walk in. Look, you got the cigar guitar behind us. You got the tobacco bar now front and center in the shop. You can't see it on the live show, but you've got the tobacco leaves hanging from the roof, which is awesome.
This is the exact lounge area that Jerry Clower used to come in and make up some of his material. Right, I'm
telling you, like this is
Willie Morris. Like before he wrote My Dog Skip, like sat in that corner right there and watched Secretariat win the Triple Crown.
Like
give me a break, dude. This place is awesome.
We're almost standing in the spot.
Yeah.
Wow. It's crazy. But I mean, that's the thing. I would never. I'm Squire till the day I die. But great stuff. Thanks so much for sending in all the wonderful feedback, both before the show and live on Twitter.
Happy Joe, your order did get shipped today. You just asked me that on Twitter, and it did.
And by the way, Justin Griffin on Twitter is tweeting in that he's playing Pokemon Go, and Execute just popped up in front of the show. So there you go. It ties it all together, and I think there's no better way to do it than to twist it all up like that.
Waka waka.
Hey, if you haven't been following the show on Twitter, you should. It's at Squire Radio. You can follow us individually. I'm at The Real Bo York.
I'm at John David Cole, or you can get us at the shop at @_Country Squire.
All that information and more can be found at countrysquireradio.com, where you can tune in every single Monday night at 6:30 Central Time. That's 4:30 Pacific, 7:30 Eastern for the live show. We'd love to have you here. And, just before we went live, we were discussing what it might be like to not just go live in a digital sense, but actually, we joke all the time about our quote-unquote live studio audience.
Which is always Briar.
Hey, Briar. Say hey, Briar.
And sometimes his girlfriend, too. Sometimes his lovely girlfriend.
Sometimes, but we were thinking about maybe next time, perhaps even when we do a Squire Select, opening it up to a live whiskey and tobacco pairing in the shop.
Yeah.
Got chairs out here. We can actually have people go woo at the top of the show. Like woo.
Hopefully we will inspire them to go woo.
Yeah. We could hold up a sign that says,
maybe if we throw them beads or something.
Please applause. Yeah, that'd be great. That'd be great. But one way or the other, we're looking at new ways that we can kind of bring the live experience even more live for those who are able to make it.
That's right. And if you're able to make like a pipe pilgrimage to the Squire, like so many of our good friends have done. And,
absolutely.
We want to try to figure out new ways to make that even more special for you. So anyway, just thinking down the road a little bit.
Absolutely, man. Well, hey, I don't want to get it twisted, but we had a great show tonight,
dude. I had a rope-a-dope of a show. It was so stupid.
All right, man. Let's go have a night.
See you, brother.
All right. Thanks so much for tuning into the show, guys. I hope you enjoyed the pre-show banter. If not, don't worry. It won't be on the YouTube channel for long.
How did you feel about me chewing that tobacco and spitting in my cup so close to your microphone?
Yeah, you know exactly how I feel about that. And now we don't have to talk about it.
And then we know. It's already been processed. You just get that out in the open.
Oh man, no, it's all right. It's all right. It's good to do some crazy things. Chewing tobacco on the podcast.
I'm just saying, Bo is horrified.
Up on the mic. Bye, guys.
Good night. That was fun.
I hope so. People were tweeting in.